Welcome back to the show. Let's deal with adversity now.
Well, adversity is really a lot of times what puts people in the rut, because they think, I'm shut down now. All these negative things have happened, all these terrible things, I must go sit on the couch and lay there for 2 years. Right? So it shuts people down. But with champions and people who really live what I call the champion's journey, adversity becomes the helping hand out of the rut. Because when we start to see the magic in the adversity, we start to see that we're starting to be in control and in charge of our own lives. And adversity can shine the light on where we're weak, what we're not brilliant at, what we need to do to clean up our finances, for example, what we need to do to clean up all of those things. Think of the economy. Think of anything that has crashed, for example. When you think of a big crash, you think, well, of course, everything's over, right? So when I speak about adversity, I speak a lot about my clients at the 2006 Olympics in Torino. We were on a 5-year plan for them to podium and possibly even win the 2006 Olympics in ice dancing. They were already 5-time national champions and had gone with my coaching from 10th place in the world and ended up 2nd. What had happened at the Olympics was devastating. We did not plan for this to happen. They were perfectly organized. The plan was down to the T. The costumes were perfect. They were mentally prepared. And something devastating went wrong. Now, when you have that type of experience and you fall and you watch your Olympic dreams, and also don't forget about the financial things that happen when somebody wins a medal at Olympics. Their entire life in that moment could have been over. But my commitment to them and my willingness to help them link through to what was next, I refused to let them use that fall as the end of a career. So what I did was I reframed it. I didn't sleep for about 72 hours. We did all the media. We had to do everything that needed to happen. We had to talk to the parents. We had to get the medical advice. We had to actually withdraw from the Olympic Games. So there's a big W beside their name, which is heartbreaking. But I also knew the magic of the adversity. I said, there's a message in this. I'm not going to let this be the end of their career. So she couldn't skate for almost 2.5 weeks. So all the work that she did was mental and emotional. And I would even, garner spiritual. So by the time they ended up at the next competition, which was the World Championships in Calgary, in our home country, she was ready, but she hadn't skated. So everybody was very excited. Of course, the Canadians are going to lose in Canada. But the truth, what happened is what we had created an inner plan, and we used that adversity as motivation, and we used it to get closer and tighter and more committed to the plan and more committed to their future after athletes. Because truly, it's about life after. When in sport, we talk about the medal or the ending or the Stanley Cup. Very, very rarely do we talk about life after sport. And my commitment to my athletes is, okay, sure, you got the medal, then what? So we know, of course, Eckhart Tolle in his book, The Power of Now, one of my chapters in my book is called The Power of Now What? Because once it happens, it's over. And then, the most heartbreaking thing in the world is to watch brilliant people that are gifted and talented crash and burn on the couch because no one taught them about the now what.
Steffany, how do you do exactly that yourself? Like, what if you don't have the finances to have a coach by your side? So as an individual, you've fallen, and how do you use adversity yourself to be able to move you through that? Or can you?
I believe you can. I think we just need to know it's an option. We're so not taught how to embrace chaos or how to honor adversity. We only always want to live on the positive side of life, but the truth is there's always two sides. There's the positive and the so-called negative. If you want to take full credit for all the great things that are going on in your life, then why don't you want to take credit for all the not so great things that are going on in your life? So really, you bring them together, and it's called a state of grace. So when you enter a state of grace and you've hit that place where everything is neither positive or negative, then you can begin to tell the truth. Then you can start showing up to yourself in the mirror authentically. You can start showing up with your partner or with the people around you or your family or into your society. But it starts from inside. And then writing, journaling is brilliant. And random thoughts. I have clients that I do, okay, give me 30 seconds of random thoughts. They go crazy with the things that are going on in their head. People have generally over 60,000 thoughts a day.
Wow.
So can you imagine? We think we're nut bars all the time because none of them are logical or make sense, right? Champion athletes or high-end, really high achievers have about a third of that. So they've disciplined their minds to having about 20,000 thoughts a day versus 60,000. So when you think about those types of things, what thoughts are you choosing? That's why I asked you about your self-talk. When I was going through a weight loss journey, or a lot of my sort of journey in 7 areas of life, I had to learn to teach myself to say, hey, girlfriend, looking good today. Instead of, listen, you big fat cow, right? Because that's how I used to talk to myself, right? But now it's like, hey, girlfriend, looking good. Hey, no, those jeans don't make your butt look cute. Let's try a different pair. So it's how your voice, your tonality with yourself, because, you know, we wouldn't speak to our children the way we speak to ourselves sometimes.
True enough.
And that's one way we can personally do it without the help of a coach.
Steffany, I'm going to just go back in time here to our original conversation of getting on the couch. I want to go to a conversation that's even before the couch. It's when you're in an environment, you exist in an environment where you're miserable. How do you even get to the couch? How do you even get to the point of this environment does not work? And the reason I started at the couch was because I had gotten there and that was where the conversation started. But as you're speaking now, I'm thinking, what would we say to the viewers out there that are in miserable work environments, miserable home environments, whatever it is where they're miserable? How do they come out of that?
Well, I think it's, again, it's entering. And GV, what you did was you loved yourself enough to hit the couch. You got to the point where you weren't going to tolerate the things that didn't fit your values. It didn't matter that the government was a good job and the pension was good and your family thought it was important. It didn't fit with yourself and your values. We can't fail at our highest values. So when I hear you say people that don't love their lives or are maybe even in miserable relationships, a lot of times it's the conversation with self and what am I putting up with, what am I tolerating, what am I not doing, how am I not honoring myself that's keeping me in this situation. Because truly, people don't do things to us. You know, that job didn't do bad things to you, right? We do have self-responsibility and self-accountability in knowing what, you know, we're smart women, especially, you know, you and I are obviously smart and attractive.
Of course.
You know, and we do have a responsibility.
Yeah.
But the truth is we're still a lot of times we're 12 or we're 2 or we're, you know, or we're 27 and we all have that all still going on inside of us. And we all operate in 7 areas of life. So if we're in our vocational bucket, let's call it. We're in the work bucket and we're living the world of work and we're living by those rules, but they don't resonate with us as a spiritual being or us as an emotional being. Then we get to start to have the conversation there. How can I build my work world so that it supports my emotional world, my intellectual world, even my social world? So am I in alignment in all the areas of life so that I don't have a work life and a personal life? Because really we have one life and I don't want to waste a minute.
Of course.
And by you telling the truth and getting on that darn couch, you actually broke a pattern, which is inspiring for other people because they're going to say, if Jeevee did it, I can do it, right? And I just need to look at this woman and see how she inspires me and how she took a stand for herself. And maybe it didn't look pretty. You know, maybe it was, you know, PJs and bad breath. But that moment in time can give you, first of all, and other people, permission to quit. I call it, the exercise I do is called permission to quit. Figure out what it would be like to quit that job or leave that relationship or, right, what would my life be like? And really, would it be all that much better? And in your case, obviously it was, because look at what you've created. But for some people, it's just a reframing. They go, you know what, this isn't such a bad environment. You know, he's not such a bad guy. Or, geez, you know, I kind of like the people I work. And it softens that judgment that we have.